In a world where unemployment has been a trigger to so much evil in society, we present to you some of the people that have managed to overcome such challenges and have been able to become very important people in society. Tonight on the show, we have a special guest. He is a lawyer, graduate in law with a postgraduate diploma in legal practice, and he has worked with very many legal firms around town, about five, right?
Yeah, some around some.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I present to you Mamanzi Eric.
Thank you
Say
very,
hello to the viewers.
thank you very much, Roland. It's really a privilege and an honor to be here. I'm interested. These are some of the topics that kind of affect all of
Yes.
us in the community.
Yeah.
So it's really a pleasure to be here and join you in
In
this
the
conversation.
community, and specifically tonight, we'd love to talk about a very important aspect of the community, and that is the youth.
Yes,
The
please.
youth out there are going through a lot of challenges.
Indeed.
And as somebody who is still a youth and has faced a number of challenges in society, and you've managed to lift yourself out of those challenges and end up becoming a lawyer. If I may ask, what does it take for someone to become a lawyer?
I'm not really going to go into the nitty-gritties of telling you what you need to read and what you need to do. But I can say, like any other journey in life, devotion and commitment. You see, when you're doing something that you're interested in and something that you love, the only thing that you're required of to do and put in to make sure that you get to the point of where you're going, regardless of the obstacles you meet on the way, it's devotion and commitment. And I think a little bit of some behavior, good behavior, if I may say.
Devotion and commitment. Because when you talk about devotion and commitment, there's a child out there that has really tried to do quite a lot of things for themselves. They faced a number of challenges, and at the end of the day they've been disappointed. Some of them got into drug abuse. We've seen people lose their minds over things like cocaine and all that stuff that they smoke. I would have to understand, how did you protect yourself from things like that?
Well, like I said, the first part of devotion is you have to devote time to yourself and believe in yourself. Know that sometimes you need to make a decision and take a stand as an individual. And like we've always had, the leading cause of drug abuse and whatnot is basically being in the wrong groups, being influenced by masses. So, like I said, if you devote the right time to yourself and then you believe in the right thing to do, I think you have a moral compass. Everyone should have that. Yeah, if you have a moral compass, make sure that when the right time comes, you make the right choice. That is what I would say would help you to dodge all these challenges and all these things that pull you into the dark world out there. And just a small snippet of what is out there. Most people don't have a grasp. Actually, there is no awareness about drugs. Yes. People don't know that their kids are being exposed to these things. So I think we also need to educate our children about these existing illegalities outside in the society, because three-quarters of those drugs are illegal. There are different numerous laws that safeguard us and protect us as a community, but we as a community have to go to an individual. As a parent, you have to reach out to your child and teach them and show them what is right and wrong at different levels of life.
So, talking about choices, you decided to choose to protect the interests of employees. Yes. And we're talking about the less privileged. On this discussion, I'd love to focus majorly on those youths that are out there and they are unemployed. And specifically, if we talk about unemployment, it's one of the triggers that have encouraged people to neglect their families because they don't have money to sustain their families. And you understand that the generation that we're living in now is a generation where by 25 somebody has two kids. They're still young, but they're having two kids. So I'd love you to give a point of emphasis on the choices that these people make. Should they decide to go on to engaging in marital affairs at that young an age, or you propose that these people can wait a little bit longer, perhaps push and stretch a bit longer so that they can be ready when they come to that point?
Well, thank you very much for that opinion and for that question. I'm not going to dwell much into what we have to tell people what to do and what not to do, because I believe it's a constitutional right to have marital relations. So if you're of age and you feel like you need to get married, it's your right. You're supposed to do that. But like you pointed out earlier on, education, basically education, labor and employment, because it starts from our education system. So unemployment being the highest leading cause of all these things, because the more people are unemployed, the more they will not be able to afford health care, the more not be able to afford basic needs. Basic needs like shelter, Medicare, and transport on a daily. So if we looked at the initial problem that is leading to this circumstance, that's the only way we can get ourselves. Because the major thing we need to solve is unemployment. Like you said, I'm not looking into helping less privileged employees because I can or because I have the resources that it takes. I've realized that this is a level of employees that the world and society has neglected. Their rights don't seem to matter that much. So I've decided to devote my life. It's actually one of my life's biggest achievements, if you had asked me that question. It's one of the things that I do and I feel so committed to, and it makes me really proud. It gives me the joy that nothing else can ever give. So I would say we go head on with unemployment, solve that problem, and then everything else will fall in place.
All right. Hopefully, the viewer out there is taking note of some of these things that the gentleman here has pointed out, and I hope it's a learning stage for us, because at the end of the day, if we don't listen to these people that have managed to sail through the obstacles that are in society and have managed to rise to wherever they are, we can only find ourselves being misled, because of course society always has temptations out there. I'd love to stick to choices. I'd love to understand, as Eric Mamanzi, what do you do in your free time?
In my free time, I love music. Music has really saved me a lot. I don't know whether everyone perceives or enjoys music the way I do, but there are times when the world cannot feel you, I don't know, in a certain way, in a certain aspect that I may not be able to put in words and make people understand.
So if I may ask about the same, what kind of music do you enjoy? I mean, a lawyer, what kind of music would a lawyer enjoy?
No, actually, lawyers enjoy music because it's literature, basically. The words the musicians put together, that's literature. They tell a story in a certain short way and to the full length. So I do R&B. I'm an R&B person. I love some hip-hop.
You can dance as well?
I try. It's not my best best area, but I try. So yeah.
Okay. So apart from music, what are some of the other things that you do in your free time? Do you get time to read or write? Or?
Oh yeah, I read books. I read a lot. That's the other thing I do in my free time. And then I write at cause. I have written over 2 research dissertations involving especially technology and the law.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I do quite a number of things. I also do some exercise. I may look lean and whatnot.
You work out?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I look.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again for tuning in to our episode. My good name is Roland 95. Tonight we had a special guest, Mamanzi Eric, a legal practitioner. And on the next episode, I would love to encourage you viewers to come back and watch us on our very next episode, which will be happening every Friday from 9 to 10 p.m. Okay? From me to you and from our guest, thanks for coming around.
It's my pleasure.
Bye-bye.